You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
We've got a guest coming in later, Don and Max. And where's Phoebe? Is Phoebe giving us the flick? And also Ivan. Ivan, I maligned Ivan last week. I said he'd given us the flick, but he's over in the ore industry. He's over in Perth, and so he's not here with us. Ivan?
I don't think you should use the plural we, I. I don't think you should use the plural of we. It was I that upset Ivan.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true, Don. We're all inclusive here. We're equitable and diverse, so I'm just including us. Now, incidentally, I should have mentioned when we were talking about sort of showbiz and James Bond, that I see Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, she's married Ben Affleck.
Well, you're really keeping up in the world. Yeah.
What's that?
Benefer. She's not. Yeah. It's the couple name, Benefer.
Benefer.
Yeah.
I give that a year, that marriage. In fact, I give it 6 months.
Take it from the expert?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty good with those things, those Hollywood marriages. That'll be, Ben will start to wander around, and J-Lo, he'll realise J-Lo's not actually as sharp as he thought she was. That's Ben Affleck, J-Lo. And I noticed just on the electric vehicles sham. The electric vehicles is a sham, is an absolute fucking hoax. The electrical vehicles. Did you know China's running out of energy, and they are building 150 new coal-fired power plants so that they can sustain their standard of living.
Where are they getting the coal from?
I hope they're getting it from the top of Australia or over where Ivan is, are they? Or are we persona non grata with China at the minute? Anyhow, Europe, the whole of the European Union are building coal-fired power stations, and yet we are trying to get rid of them because our little intrusion into the carbon dioxide emissions would pale into insignificance with globally. And why we roll over to all that shit is beyond me.
Talking about that politically, it's the Greens. The Greens are advocating it. I know the others are as well. But I just saw an article the other day with regard to the Greens, the council, Yarra Council in Richmond. I don't think, and also Adam Brandt and Lydia Thorpe in the federal government, I don't think they're doing their image any justice, the Green image any justice. Yarra Council, Lydia Thorpe, Adam Brandt.
Is that
very antagonistic? They don't seem to come up with really, or their policies they don't really think through. I agree with what they're trying to do, but they can't really put it into practice.
Is that the disgraceful knob jockey Brandt who...
No, he's the leader of the Greens.
Is he the man that said he wouldn't stand in front of the Australian flag at a press conference?
Oh, yes, that's right. He took the
what
Australian flag.
What a treacherous grub. What a snotty little piece of bacteria.
Those are the things, and Lydia Thorpe wouldn't take the oath in Parliament properly. She did when she was corrected and asked to do so. But it's not doing their image any justice.
Because they know they'll never get into government and they'll never have to enact any policies that they espouse.
Don't they hold balance of power, or don't they hold power or balance in the Senate?
But they can chip away and ask for favours so that the governments will fall over themselves to placate them because they have the balance of power, but they'll never get in.
But the Greens
never have to do
their
anything.
Power base seems to be in inner Melbourne, well, in Victoria, inner Melbourne, and Yarra Council comes into that. That's the Richmond Council, and they're all up in, they're starting to gag debate within their council chambers. So I don't know. I just don't think the Greens are operating in the right way somehow.
Right. Well, no. Well, there we are. So now sport, Don. We could do sport if you wish. Have you got anything? I was a captive audience. So, Max,
I just got a very interesting text message not a minute ago. Apparently, Xavier Campbell, the CEO of Essendon, is about to resign or put in his resignation.
But he received.
That's breaking news on You Cannot Be Serious. That hasn't gone out.
Well, by the time this goes to air this afternoon, it'll probably be broken. But anyhow, that's right.
Probably.
We're
But
ahead
he
of the
just had
curve
an
in a lot of
extension.
things.
This is very interesting if that's the case, because he got an extension of 2 years on his contract. So have they got to pay him 2 years' salary?
No, he resigned.
He resigned.
So might be
Very
some sort of
interesting.
payout. Do you know how much Ben Rutten got paid out, just coincidentally?
Well, he's...
Because he's now been sacked. I don't know if you knew that, Dad.
he'd have to get 12 months.
He got, I don't know what his original contract was, but he's been paid out $600,000 not to coach Essendon next year.
Well, what's his name? Clarkson got over $1 million from Hawthorn.
Yeah, that's after 20 years service.
Well,
or however long it was.
That was because he had a contract.
Yeah.
It wasn't a superannuation fund or anything. It was just that he had a contract, as Rutten did, and they've got to honour that contract.
Yes.
That's what I said about Campbell too. What's his name? Xavier Campbell.
Xavier Campbell, yeah.
So
Unless they're, what do you call them, markers or what do they call
Incentives.
those? No. Where you
performance-based,
Yeah.
Performance-based incentives.
CPIs. Is it?
linked to the CPI,
CPUs?
Consumer
where
Price
you're
Index.
judged.
CPUs?
Key performance indicators.
CPI, KPIs.
KPIs,
Yeah.
unless he didn't measure some KPI or something.
No, I doubt it.
So
Yeah.
people said, gee, Carlton had a great year and they were fantastic.
No, they're shit.
I would beg to differ. I would say Carlton have improved not one iota. They lost 2 games that they absolutely shouldn't have
They
lost.
shouldn't have lost on Saturday.
Shouldn't have lost the week before.
Sunday, mate.
And
Sunday.
they've not made the finals again. How would they have not made not one step in the
What
right
I'd be
direction,
questioning
Carlton?
Carlton is that it was a very important game. It would be 20 points up at three-quarter time. It wasn't all that important to Collingwood, but to get done,
No, yes, it was.
well, why?
Because they could have, they would have, instead of playing interstate, they now get a home final at the MCG.
Oh well, that is not as important as actually hanging on to the 8.
It'd be more as for a major Victorian club. I would say that it is quite important.
Play them anywhere. Play them anywhere.
Play them anywhere.
don't-
What about with
don't be a
70,000 of
dunderhead.
your fans at the MCG?
You were saying it's not. It's not.
Of course, it's important,
Home
man.
ground advantage. If you go along with that, you're weak in the mind.
No, but that
You are weak in the mind.
they are. Most of them are weak in the mind. Don.
God.
Looking for any little edge. Would you rather play at the MCG or go down to Blundstone Arena in
Wouldn't worry if I
Hawthorn?
was in the final.
Sporter, come here.
Hey, what is it called?
Bloodstone Arena.
Blundstone Arena. Would you rather?
It wouldn't worry me.
No, but
As
what
long
about
as I was in the final.
what about the fans? Wouldn't you like 70,000 Hawthorn fans at the MCG rather than
Johnny, once
7,000 down at...
you don't even hear them once you're out in the ground.
Don't you, Don?
I'll rephrase this then, Don.
Didn't you play any finals?
15.
15, did
Yeah.
you? What? Elimination
No
finals?
grand finals,
First
though, right?
week.
Yeah, you asked me, did I play in any finals? And I'm saying I played in 15.
Did you get dropped for the grand final?
No, I didn't.
Were you benched?
No, I wasn't.
They never
you play
played
in a grand final?
in his time? Oh, they did, 67, but he was injured.
Yes, thank you,
Oh,
Don.
he was injured, right?
Yes.
He
thank
had
you.
his kidney,
Yes.
someone snotted.
Sorry, I'd lost a kidney. I'm sorry I wasn't available for the grand final.
To your point as well, Don, besides making top 2, they also would have finished outside the 4, so they wouldn't have gotten a double chance.
Yeah,
so
but I don't think that's
don't
as
tell me that
important.
doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. When you're in there, as
come
long as
on.
Carlton
Why have
had
a top
more
4 then?
incentive. Carlton had more incentive
Yes,
than
absolutely.
what Collingwood did. That's my argument. But
Yes, of course they did.
generic. Can I mention something? I was watching 7 Plus the other day. Now, any sportsman who needs or wants to learn about the game, there are common denominators no matter what the sport is as far as the top goes. It's called America's Game. I've mentioned this in the past. It's done on the NFL.
What sport are you talking about?
It's a documentary series done on 7 Plus. It's
Yeah.
called America's Game. It's done on the NFL.
Oh, yeah, gridiron.
And they pick a team and follow that team for the 12 months. It's retrospect. There are interviews with the particular players. It is an excellent production and something that only the Americans could do. The way it is edited, scripted, the music put to the scene.
Yeah. Eddie
the-
Maguire's television company here, Maguire Media, did that with followed the draft around for a year. They did that here.
What do you mean?
No, they don't. You mean they
This
followed?
is a recap of a year,
He
1993.
did
So they might fight the Florida Marlins or whoever they're doing.
Road to the Top or something. Maguire Media did it.
That's the draft. This is
No.
an actual recap
Are you
of
talking about that show that he put you onto?
No.
No, not that one. Right. But
Anyway, this is an excellent production. It's on 7+, and any sportsman may get some information or inspiration, and also there's a common denominator with all top sportsmen, and it does come through, and different fellows, and they're very, very articulate, the footballers that are interviewed, and it's a great thing.
Did you say 1993?
7+.
Did you say 1993?
It goes back to 83. It'll pick a year, and it'll follow that.
And they have
team through
footage.
the year.
They have footage.
Yeah, they have footage. It is excellent.
That is one thing the Americans do well. They will record just about anything.
So they had footage from 40 years ago,
Exactly.
did they, Don?
Did
Yeah.
you see the Bulls documentary when that was very hyped about 12 months ago?
The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
They just have footage just in case, and if it's worthy, then they
Why-
do something with it. And if they
why
don't, they
was
bin
that-
it.
Why was that meant to be great? The
The Last Dance. Well, it gave an insight into Michael Jordan,
What
his
was the-
interaction. Well, Luke Longley, the starting centre,
Yeah.
the Australian, was not interviewed.
No,
They
screwed him
said
over.
that they couldn't come across, or Luke's dropped out of whatever. He's living
Yeah.
somewhere
So
on a
what
farm south of Perth or just out of Perth. And that was a glaring omission.
Yeah, so
they
what
had
did Luke-
everybody else except the starting centre.
Because apparently his comments weren't going to be tailored to the narrative of The Last Dance.
That's
and
right,
and
and there
Jordan
was
came
some
out.
personality conflict as
Jordan
well.
came out after The Last Dance and said that he regretted not
Well,
having
I think
Luke in
he
it at all.
inferred that he might have been a little soft too.
Oh,
Didn't play
yes.
up to his potential or his so-called potential.
Just
Probably.
grist for the mill, all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, it was.
what's his
Still
name?
good.
What's the bloke's name?
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Says, you've got to be strong and don't give up and all. I mean, what? Just platitudes.
he didn't say that.
Just obvious nonsense.
He does
He didn't
not
do that.
say that, John.
What's he saying?
Does the opposite.
It-
He belittles, berates.
He
and,
does, and
yeah.
it takes you in, and if you read between the lines, you think, oh, Michael Jordan is not as squeaky clean.
Like Muhammad Ali.
Well, yes.
Probably not to the.
Everyone's got flaws,
extent.
haven't they?
Oh, they have, as a matter of fact, Don. Just getting back to Mr. Clarkson being appointed coach, not that we were on that. How long do you reckon he will take to get them to be successful if...
I don't think he ever will.
Never, ever. Because at the end of the day, Don, do you know what you need?
Good players.
Some players.
And he was very lucky.
It's
when
like Essendon.
he was very lucky at
Essendon have
Hawthorn.
players. Essendon have players that don't have structure. That's the point.
Essendon don't have players.
Essendon have players. We don't have structure.
Well,
Essendon has
isn't
a very
that
good
part of
list.
playing?
Yeah,
Is
because-
that the coach's job to give them structure?
It's
It's the
coaches.
players. It's the players' nous to actually understand and retain instruction.
No, when a ball
That's part of playing
can
football.
go from your forward 50 into your defensive 50 in 9 seconds, you've got no structure. And that
That's
was
right,
the case
you've got
all
no
throughout the year.
players who understand
Hawthorn
the game.
did that on the weekend against Footscray. Footscray didn't touch the ball and they scored a goal from. So what do you say? Footscray got no structure.
No, I'm saying Essendon did it the whole year though.
You got to have players who
The
understand
other thing,
the game.
the other thing that
I take your point on that, but we have a good
it's
list.
a real sticking point with me is these clash jumpers, how they change from one week to the other. And I just happened to go down, and in years gone by there was never clash jumpers, and there was never any confusion as to what you were going to do with the ball
Never,
or when
ever.
you got it.
Just
Never.
never, ever.
Bring
Now
up
I
the
saw
LSA Clarkson
an
point again,
outstanding example on the weekend. I watched the girls netball at Red Hill and Sorrento, and they both wear red and white, very hard to distinguish in their tunics as to who was who.
Tunics.
Tunics, that's what they play in.
They're tunics.
And not one pass went astray. And they're both playing in red and white. Their colours are red and white. They didn't have an
So their
alternative strip.
tunics the same colour?
Yes, to a degree, yes.
There's
Very
7
hard to distinguish for me, but one had a little bit of grey in it.
There's 7 players on your team, mate. Not 22. What are you on about?
Well, what's
There's
that got to do? You
there's
still got to get
7
rid of the
players.
ball.
There's 7 players in
And
your
they're
team.
in a far more restricted area on a netball court, that's 7 players than the 22 on a football field.
Yes.
So there wasn't one mistake made by these ladies in their game. Why we've got to have clash jumpers,
Couldn't agree with you more, Don.
I do not know. It's
Yeah,
a marketing ploy to sell that particular jumper for that particular year.
Even when North Melbourne played Collingwood in the old days, you could still tell who was your teammate and who wasn't.
You're an Essendon supporter. Can you tell me why Essendon were wearing a yellow sleeve or
on one of their arms?
On one of their arms.
Yeah, it's. I don't know the specifics of it. It had to. I think it's got to do with police or
Police?
police.
The police?
Yeah, I think it's some sort of initiative or charity thing. I'm not 100% sure. I could be
Why
wrong.
buggy your uniform up for that?
Nah, but this is what
No,
the AFL get involved in, all sort of campaigns. And it's so silly, that buffoon who runs the competition has written a humorous letter because he loves football, Gil McLaughlin. If he's just worried about the main game rather than trying to be pompous and arrogant in the way he runs the competition, that'd be far better in investing himself in things that don't concern him, like us.
Did you sledge anyone when you played footy? You did your teammates, I know that.
My word, I did.
Yeah, of course.
Opponents, did you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you used to sledge your teammates.
Yeah.
I was really conscious of that.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
that's right.
If
that's
you got a
right.
hit
I was a bit
out,
like Michael Jordan.
Opponents,
Well, you
teammates,
were,
umpires,
yes.
family,
if you happened
friends,
to get that hit
children,
out,
Yeah.
and it
goal
just went over
umpires.
there
Yeah.
because your rovers were roving
Yep.
to the opposition ruckman.
Yep.
But occasionally you'd get that hit out,
Yep.
and you'd blast them for not being
that's
there.
correct.
But what they were doing is trying to shark the opposition's hit because
But that was pointless. Was a
Well, you
exercise
never
in
really-
futility because most of the people I rucked against never got the hit out.
well, they were
No,
because
they
that's
didn't.
why they were roving.
No,
Your
they
teammates
weren't.
were roving
No,
to
they
the
weren't.
opposition.
No, that's because they didn't retain instruction as to where to go or where to be when I got the hit out, Don.
But I just found it incredible what happened up in Brisbane last week. Brisbane and Melbourne.
Oh, Dane Zorko. Okay, this is a good topic. Let him talk on this one.
Is that where they exchanged boomerangs?
No, that was the week before,
Oh, sorry,
and
go
it didn't happen across every AFL game. Like you said, it was
go
just
on.
that one.
Yep, go on.
Go on, Don.
I mean, there's many ways of beating your opponent, isn't there? There's just your natural skill. There may be aggression.
Yeah, kicking
Craft.
him like you used
yeah,
to.
or punching, or
Yeah,
hitting,
grabbing
or
his
whatever,
balls.
whatever. But
spitting
there's
on him.
also using
Craft.
the voice,
Yep,
and you
Don't.
get into the head of the opposition.
yep.
Don't.
What?
You're not going to support it, are you?
Jeez, what
Yep.
used to happen? What happened on the football field? It stays there.
No, Max, we draw the
verbally.
line- we draw the
Jeez,
line.
God, we used to pull. There were no punches pulled.
None. Draw the
None
line
at all.
Draw the line at racism. So
Yes.
we'll cut that. After that, I reckon
Domestic
anything,
violence, you know who was doing what to I know
After
one
that, I
fellow
reckon anything goes.
who used to hit his wife. So
What's
you'd
that,
rip
Don?
you rip into him about that.
Who?
Well, I'm not telling you who.
Oh,
Jeez,
you're
do you
talking
think
about from when you played?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Domestic
I
violence.
gave Carl Dittrich a serve one day.
Or was he doing it?
No, I gave him we used to get in. Well, actually, you told me what to say. And
You got
geez,
some
he
insider
fixed me up.
information.
He came from behind and fixed me right up. Gave me a king hit from behind.
That's right. It's the way to do it.
That's right. He retaliated, so I was into him mentally, and he reverted to physical. So, that was just the way it was going. It was just play on.
So, Don, what did Dane say?
I don't care what he said.
Oh, you don't even know what he said?
What if you acknowledge or
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
if you acknowledge what they're saying to you on the
And
ground,
take it seriously.
you've just got to block it out and keep going.
Yes.
Because it
Laugh
shows
at it.
a weakness.
Laugh at it.
I agree
Laugh
with
at it
99%
or
of what you're saying.
Be
But do you know
very
what he said?
articulate in giving it back.
Did he say something about? Do we know what he said?
Yes, or
he
we-
said something about
Well, we
abortion.
don't
No,
know.
he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He
What
said,
did
I
he
hope
say?
your mother dies, and I hope your mother dies of cancer. Or
Yeah,
some-
or
something like that.
Max,
Allegedly.
If I was playing football and someone said to me out in the football field, "I hope your mother dies of cancer," you honestly,
No, it might not
truly,
have been
how could
cancer.
you
No, I
possibly
don't
take
think-
offence at that?
No, I retract that. I don't think it was. I don't think he did say that. He did say, I hope your mother dies," because he got frustrated, the little shit, because he's getting beaten by 60 points.
So how would you take that how would you take that seriously if someone said, "I hope your mother dies"?
Well, you don't know his mother could be battling something. Who knows?
Then they've got under his skin.
What about the Melbourne Football Club? Aren't they to blame? Isn't there a duty of care?
Why are they to blame, Don?
Duty of care.
They took all precautions after they were alerted of the fact.
Maybe this was a problem.
Did you watch the game?
And they shouldn't have allowed the player to go out onto the ground.
Did you watch the game?
Yes.
Did you watch the end of the game?
Yeah.
What are
it's
you
called duty of care.
No, but
Melbourne
you're a
comparables
buffoon.
if somebody is a little bit weak in this area, allowing
so
him
they
to go
shouldn't
onto
let
the
him
football.
play.
Shouldn't have let him play.
Well, because his mother was dying.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Was he?
I don't know what his mother's stance is, but I surely wouldn't cross family. Surely you can say whatever you want about the individual. You don't bring in family and children into it. That's what I would have thought. What? Don't look at me like that.
Well, so if you say it all depends where you draw the line. So if you say
that's
you're
where I
a
would
weak
draw the
bastard,
line.
are you saying I'm born out of wedlock? That's bringing the family into it. I've been maxed.
Oh, don't be so.
What's that matter what you say? As long as you're not racist, because that's off limits. After that, anything goes, mate.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Exactly.
Man up, or woman up, or person up. Get over it.
But we live in a different world, Johnny.
Yeah. So,
better world.
So you watch.
And by the way, did you get any tickets for the? I see the AFL have made a retraction. The 200 Club, they usually get 2 tickets to the finals. This year, they only got 1.
Oh well.
A couple of days. Hang on, there must have been a complaint because two days later, there's a retraction. So those members of the 200 AFL, the 200 Club at the AFL, are now receiving their 2 tickets to the finals.
Well, we don't care, Don, because we're 300 gamers. We just get the gold passes. we don't give a stuff about the 200 Club. So we're just in the.
But anyway, that was an interesting retraction. Interesting retraction.
Speaking of your 300 games for both of your respective clubs, how do you pick an All-Australian?
That's subjective.
Oh, then give me your subjective viewpoint.
It really is. A fellow at Hawthorn.
Don. And
well, I can talk. I can qualify this by one of the assistant coaches pushed this particular fellow up to one of the selectors of the All-Australian team, and he got in. He didn't warrant getting in, but he was pushed up because these selectors don't go around and see every team each week.
Okay, can I ask my question again?
They're reliant on others for information.
Can I ask my question again? How would you select an All-Australian player? You, Don, Scott, James, Bond.
Number one, I wouldn't have an All-Australian.
No, he didn't ask you that, Don.
I wouldn't have it. It's subjective.
Don't swear, Max, please. Listen to your father.
How do you pick?
It's trying to be a role model, not having a swear.
It's like a state team in our time. That wasn't truly representative.
No, Don, please. I'm with you. I know what you're saying. But if you got an All-Australian, were you All-Australian?
No, well, we never had. It was only played at carnivals.
Were you picked in an All-Australian side? Right.
Because the All-Australian in our time was played every 4 years at a carnival.
It's a theoretical team. I was an All-Australian.
When did you get in?
I was about to tell you. 1969. I was All-Australian, right?
Well, when you made that stupid fucking gaff over in Adelaide.
Fuck me, Don.
You made a fool of yourself in that game.
It wasn't. You didn't play. It was just a mythical team. You get picked as an All-Australian, meaning you're the best 20 players in the competition. That's
at the carnival. It was a carnival, my friend.
Mate. No, Don. An All-Australian side is picked. It's a mythical side that they pick the 20 best players in Australia, don't they?
Why don't you tell
22.
the people?
Okay, I was one of them in 1 year.
And you had to take, and it
69.
It wasn't a true representation of the.
Look, all I'm just saying to you is now there's 40. Is there 44 players picked in the AFL All-Australian squad?
Yeah, so the All-Australian squad is usually 40, and this year they've done 44, and it's rumoured because they're going to.
Squad.
Yes, they have.
Yes, Don,
what do they do? Train together.
It's a mythical selection.
On paper, man.
It's like the team of the century. You say you're in the team of the century, and so am I for Geelong. But they don't play anyone. That's just saying the best 20 players that have ever played in that century.
It's an honour or an achievement of the year, like you have Charlie, the Brownlow.
Yeah.
So they don't pick a team now. They just have a squad of 44.
No, they have a
pick a team. Fuck, what's wrong with you, man?
Oh, you're telling me a squad?
This is the point of it. When I was All-Australian, I think there was 20 people picked for the best 20 players. I might be wrong. Best 20 players in the country.
In that carnival.
No.
It was, my friend.
Jesus.
Does this count as community service?
The All-Australian side didn't play anyone.
I know they didn't. It was just who played well in that particular carnival.
No, it wasn't. It was who was they picked for the year, mate. Oh, seriously.
I'm sorry, they only...
Anyhow,
we won't go into that. It was for the carnival, John.
So why would you pick 44 players? What is it? That's not a football side. That's two football sides.
Great question. Thank you very much for asking it. So the original Australian team is 22 players, and it's rumoured to believe because of increase it from 40, it's going to be two squads. It's going to be an A team and a B reserve, which seems stupid. It seems quite Americanised.
Not stupid. That is just nonsensical, Don. I agree with you. That is just ridiculous. That devalues the whole thing. If you want to be in an all-Australian team, a mythical team that's picked for the best players in the country, let's just pick a team. And if a team's 22 players or 24, whatever it is today, what are we picking two different sides for?
It's not even the best team as well, though. Last year they had Marcus Bontempelli is probably an A-grade midfielder. They had him in the forward, on a forward flanker in the forward pocket. They just picked midfielders. That's all the AFL has centred around the past 10 years is midfielders, which is ridiculous. You see it in the Brownlow and you see it in the All-Australians.
And also, talking about the sledging side, I watched... No, just listen for a moment. Talking about how that's gone, I watched Essendon and Richmond at the end. Now, Michael Hurley's last game, he has a shot for goal. And I think he kicks the goal. Do you realise the opposition, the Richmond players, came across and congratulated him?
Yeah, in a career.
Can you... I just... Should, then I watched Maynard and Cripps. That was Collingwood and Carlton. Now, Cripps went down. I don't know whether it was Maynard that hit him. Anyway, they get up and Cripps is a bit sore and he comes over and rubs his head in a not patronising manner, but one of encouragement. I thought, geez, you hope you...
How would you know?
Anyway,
So your point, Don, is
you saw how the game... And then
quarter asked, none given.
Exactly. Then I watched Josh Kennedy, who was the captain of Sydney Swans, chairing off, what's his name? Used to play, Hanbury. Hanbury's last game up in Sydney, he now plays for St Kilda. He's played 16 games in about 4 years.
Oh, I've got a good stat for that.
And they carried him off the ground, and Josh Kennedy was on one, and his St Kilda teammate was on the other. Now, Josh Kennedy plays for Sydney Swans. Jeez,
you can't understand
I cannot understand this way these boys
live and let live, Don. You can't understand.
No, I cannot understand their approach to this particular game.
Did you play for a club after Hawthorn, out of curiosity? No. Right, then I can't ask you a question.
I couldn't do it, and I was approached to go somewhere else.
Where were you approached to go, Don?
Melbourne.
Home.
You were after you played 300 games? Mm-hmm. You approached to go to Melbourne. Mm-hmm. Oh, the big rugged... What, to take over from Carl?
No.
What did they want you to go there for? And dong a few people and kick them and spit at them? And
you were off to Richmond at one stage too. What happened there?
I didn't
asked them to sit out for 12 months.
The Richmond were after you.
Yeah, they were. But I was asked to go there. I was asked to go there on my football prowess, not the fact that I
thought it was such a
mongrel, not a mongrel like you. Yeah, you who quite openly conceded
the highest paid player in the VFL at that stage.
And rightly so.
Your father was he on money?
My father was on money?
Yeah, I'm talking to Max.
What?
I said your father was on a lot of money.
Max,
the highest paid player.
And I've given most
VFL
of it to Max too. I've kept it in war bonds and I've given it most of it to
you
Max.
You bought that house out in Donvale. I wonder how you built it.
What?
And got that tennis court. What happened about that tennis court you built at Don Vale? That went over an easement, the creek. How'd you get away with doing that?
Well,
did you pay someone?
What the hell's going on?
No, I got a
He had a house in Don Vale, and at the bottom of the block of land was a creek, which was barreled. But Johnny put a tennis court over the barrel or the creek. Now, I do not know how he got away unless he's put a little bit of money in a brown paper bag to get that tennis court approved.
You are probably the most simple. I know you're simple. You're a simple man, Don. I hesitate to say that you're this mentally unstable, but you are just a simple man. You cannot build a tennis court over an easement unless you get dispensation from the council.
But you built it.
I did not build it. I did build it.
I played on it.
I said I built it, but I got dispensation from the council because
with a paper bag?
From a paper, what? Give them
a bit of cash.
Corruption?
Yes.
Bit of dosh.
No, Don. No, they said I could build over the easement, seeing as it was purely to have stormwater or whatever it was from. And they said, and if there's any problem, we'll dig the court up because it was on my property. And I said, fine. They have absolute right to do what they like with it. But for the 1 millimetre of court that was over the easement, they said they let it go.
Satisfied?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, that's 50 years ago. Maybe they could go through their records and find me
Well,
in
you
respectively.
can't if you
retrospectively.
The paper bag, then you wouldn't find anything because of the paper bag.
Gee, I could tell you about a paper bag that was given to a friend of mine, Mr. Doug Wade, when he went to, I've told you this before. Yeah, no, North Melbourne. Wow. We were in business in Geelong. Technique Distributors had a very good business before we sold it when he opened the wrong briefcase when we got bought out.
Your sales manager was Mick Gratis,
No, he was a salesman.
Salesman,
yeah.
mate.
Yeah, I said to Mick one day, I said, Mick, when we ran up the country, I said, Mick, who was the runner for Geelong? I said, Mick.
He lost his pants, Mick Rapsis. Do you remember that out at Waverley one day? His track pants, he was the runner for Geelong. And in the middle of the ground, he lost his pants.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. The dude is the best at sidetracking.
Did you believe? I was about to tell you about Mick Rapsis. Mick Rapsis was our he's a salesman, and I was
Mick Rapsis, the runner.
I was trying to teach him how to be a good salesman because I was good at it.
No, you only...
let him finish, man. Shit.
What's that,
going to be here for an hour.
You were just good with the women, and they were all women in ladies' hairdressing.
That's right. I was good at selling stuff.
Excuse me.
What doesn't matter how I sold it?
Oh.
I used to walk...
How did you walk in?
With the open neck trousers. Now, Don, I'm telling you about Mick Rapsis. So we go up the country, and I said, Mick, now listen.
What happened if you had a male hairdresser?
Oh, fuck. I said...
Then Dad would be very sore the next morning.
It would make no difference. I'd open them up out in the car, the open neck trousers, if it was male. Now, Don... So we're driving up to Haywood.
Haywood!
Did you believe that? I said, we're driving up to Haywood. He went, Haywood!
That's where the bus went from. You remember the bus from Haywood to Mount Campy?
This dude is mentally ill.
Are you listening to this? When you download this, whoever's listening to this, our 60,000 people a week, have a listen. I mention a word, and Don, this is a story by individual words. When I went to Haywood, yeah, and Mick Rapsis, I said, yeah, he used to be a salesman. I said, shut the fuck up, Don. I'm going to do this. Mick Rapsis was a salesman, and we were unbeknownst to me, he knew the woman, really well at Haywood. Well, I'm not sure how well he knew her, but anyhow, I'm not sure if Mick had the open neck trousers because he wasn't that sort of person. So I said to Mick, now Mick, when we get there, I said, mate, try and sell the company a bit and the product, walk in and say, nice to see you again. Is there anything I can assist you with today? And take an order out. So we drive up to the outside this little hairdressing salon in Haywood, and we pull in off the road, and I'm sitting there, and I said, righto, Mick. So Mick pulls up, and he puts his hand on the horn, he goes, and the woman comes to the door, he said, hey, do you want anything today? I said, fuck me, Mick.
I thought he would have put a couple of expletives in as well. Do you want any fucking stuff today?
Said, do you want anything today? I said, that's got it, Mick. That's the way to sell shit. Yep, well done. And fucking laugh. So
what about the car race you had with Doug Wade after one of those trips down the Hume Highway?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't have a car race.
Well, the both of you were going in those hot yellow Fords.
Yeah, hot yellow Ford. We bought them from Bobby Davis. Bobby Davis sold us 2 Fords, and we were driving back down from what's the Puckapunyal? We'd been up there on, and there was no speed limit in those days. There was no speed limit.
Are you sure?
Oh, Jesus, Don. Am I sure? Of course I'm sure. This was in the maybe 70s or
early
80s. 70s. There was no speed limit, and we're doing 90 miles an hour down the Hume Highway.
90 miles an hour.
I think we're doing 90 miles an hour. Was it? One must have been 90. Yeah, 90 miles an hour. When was the decimal currency in?
67.
Yeah, no, but
66.
When was the speed limit? When we go from miles an hour to kilometres an hour? Same time, did we?
No, I don't know. Yeah,
anyhow, so the copper.
1974.
Was it? Well, that must have been, well done, Max. Well, it was before then because it was miles an hour. And we got pulled up by the police, and they said, you're driving a bit quickly. And I said, well, yeah, well, maybe we are. Was it dangerous? And they said, they went out, they let us off because we weren't driving dangerously.
It might have been the same bloke that let me off. I was going up to Hume and got caught at Euroa.
How fast were you going? What
100.
100
miles?
100 miles an hour.
What end, Don?
In the V8 panel van, V8, Ford V8 panel van.
Yeah.
I saw these lights in the back of my rear, and I thought he's never going to pass me, this bloke. It was a copper chasing me. He never caught me until I pulled into Euroa.
And did you get a ticket?
No.
No, that's right, because if you
He just asked me where I was going. I said to the Lavington race, pro running.
Yeah. So, pro running. So, if you weren't driving dangerously, I mean, people say, driving 90 miles an hour is dangerous, but you tell that to people in the Autobahn in Germany who drive at 300 kilometres an hour. And anyhow, so, speed kills, Don, I know that, all that sort of stuff, and smoking kills you, and carbon monoxide, and let's drive electric vehicles, and climate change, and all that. I know that. We're being overrun, and New Zealand are going to ban smoking in the whole country. How can you believe that? So there we are. So any other sports? Any other sports?
Did you hear what happened in the MLB recently?
Major League Baseball?
Yes.
I like Major League Baseball. What happened?
What? There was a couple in the bleachers that were spotted doing... No, they were doing something a bit more than that. They were
oral sex?
Just...
Getting a head job in the bleachers, Don.
Really?
Have you ever?
Really?
Yep.
Well, the game's on.
Yeah. A fan was asked after the game, and they commented there was more action going on the stands than there was on the field.
She was speaking into the microphone up in the stands, Don.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was the man who was the person who was on the board of Melbourne Football Club who...
No, we won't meet. Who was with the lady?
Members? Yeah.
I know. Well, he was a politician.
Yeah, politician.
Yeah.
And he was... They were...
Well,
Can I try voicing that name again?
What was the very famous identity?
Yeah, identity.
Down around St Kilda.
And they had the bunny rug over their knees because it was a bit nippy up in the Graysmith stand. And suddenly this grey-headed lady, obviously a pensioner, or not a pensioner, but a grey-headed, went down under the bunny rug. And suddenly... The man who was sitting watching the football, we thought he had wind because he had that stupid grin on his face, but she was down there actually speaking into the microphone, and that was photographed.
Was it?
I'm trying to think.
Who was it? Max said.
No, I said was it.
I'm trying to think of a name.
I said was it.
I know his
I know.
name.
I know his name, but I'm just trying to think of her.
I'm trying to think of hers.
You knew her name too, did you?
She was famous.
Yeah, no, they're both famous.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. You reckon what the bunny? Would you bring a bunny rug to the football for that specific purpose in case you got a bit frisky and you needed to have?
I suppose if you're that way inclined, you would.
No, what a
well
football
said, Don.
game.
Well, that might turn you on.
Was it Melbourne football game? Anyhow, all right. So that's it. Now, anything else?
Nick Kyrgios is being sued by the woman who he got
hell hath
thrown
no
out.
fury like a woman's scorn. Oh, no, that woman over there.
Yeah, the woman who got thrown out for having 700 drinks at the Wimbledon final. She's now suing him for defamation, something that you can relate to.
Me? Yeah. Why can I relate to defamation?
We're not just in a defamation case? Not just, like, within the past 12 months?
Me?
Yes.
Well,
no.
What defamation case is that?
I don't know. It's not my...
Someone defamed us?
Yes.
Oh, yes, someone defamed us.
Yes.
We got... the bloke, the photographer at the Nicky Winmo thing defamed us and we sued him and we got compensated.
Right, well, that's what I'm...
I thought you meant I defamed someone.
No, not at all. You're
never
perfect.
sell
Just
your
Saint
soul
Nick.
and cop shit from people who are just dribblers who
I've
make outlandish statements about you, and so he paid, and we got an apology. Said that he lied about us, so that was all we wanted.
Right, so that's Nick Kyrgios.
Stanford Hotel.
What?
Have you heard of the Stanford Hotel?
Well, did we finish on Kyrgios?
Did you have any comment about that?
Why did she sue him?
No, nothing.
Because she said she'd been wrongly accused of having 1,000
wrongly
drinks.
accused. Her life, her family's life, her kids' life has all been affected because of the comments.
Said she's had 100 drinks.
700 drinks, yeah, and pointed to her and all that. Anyway, she's said that she's suing him for defamation and that all the money that she gets from it, she's donating to charity.
Oh, fantastic!
Yep.
So it'd be quite obvious that it wasn't serious when he said you had 700 drinks. That's hyperbole in the extreme, and if you get sued for that, I mean that's just a joke. Anyhow, but that's the litigious society we live in, Don.
Now, Max.
Yes, Don, I'm still here.
The Stanford Hotel.
What about it?
Group is offering randy couples to sexplore. Now, here's an article written by Brad Crouch.
I've just noticed he's pulled a bunny rug out of his pocket.
Well, there's a couple underneath the rug, but it says here, erotic videos shows a couple enthusiastically simulating 20 positions to promote a new sex escape deal for major hotel group.
Could you read it out without?
Would you like to read it?
Well, just
a major hotel group with premium hotels in Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane is using a 4-minute soft porn video to advertise to entice incorrigible lovers to book in for a stay that includes specially designed love lounge to try to advance positions of the Kama Sutra.
It's like a child reading in preschool.
Intimacy game kits so you can have sexplore with each other.
I stay at the Stanford in Adelaide.
Did you have the black label? That's what it is. Did you get that?
You read that so disjointedly and so dysfunctionally, I couldn't understand what you're talking about. Read it out properly without...
I said a major hotel group...
Go on.
Major hotel group, it's a Stanford, in Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane is using a 4-minute soft porn video in advertising to enhance incorrigible lovers to book in for a stay that includes a specially designed love lounge to try advanced positions of the Kama Sutra, plus intimacy game kits so you can sexplore each other.
There you are, Don. If you put your mind to it, you can read it properly without being disjointed.
But that is unbelievable.
Most of the words.
That is, it's offering black label. It's called black label enhancement deal.
I see.
For romance and seduction package.
I see. So they're trying.
So are you going to avail yourself of that, Max? A young lad.
Am I going to, book in at the Stanford?
Well, your father did, and he didn't do too good.
I stay at the Stanford over there.
Oh,
I think Terry Lindblom puts me up at the Stanford. I think it is the Stanford.
Well, ask Terry about this new package that they're offering.
So that's
Don just wants an inquiry without his name on it.
So they're saying, Don, that they're banning the soft porn video as an advertising medium, are they? or they're allowing it to go?
I think they're just advertising.
They're advertising as part of the package for loved-up couples.
I thought they had to take it down because it was considered risque.
It's quite smart, to be honest. You make something that you're not allowed to advertise, and then people make a story about it, explaining what the advertisement is.
Or the advertisement.
Yeah.
What
was your point, Don?
There's quite a few toys in the package they're offering. They offer a kit. It's called the Tantalising Couples Kit. They get to keep.
As much as I love discussing sex stories and everything like that with two 70-year-old men, could we move on to another sport topic?
I know a bloke. Woman walked into a sex shop and said she was after a dildo, and bloke said, well, we've got this one here and it lights up, it's got a knob on the end of it and it rotates and it's got little brushes, or there's this one here and there's a bigger one here. And she said, she launched across and she said, what about that one on the wall over there? He said, madam, that's our fire extinguisher. Don, I want to ask you about this. The AFL, I think, are bringing 4 umpires in next year. And they said they're bringing them in, if I got this wrong, they're bringing them in because they want at least 2 of them to be women. Is that right, Max, or have I got that wrong?
You'd have to get that wrong because there's only one woman umpire in the whole AFL.
Next year they're thinking of having 4 central umpires.
No, that can't be right.
Okay, well, someone told me that was going to happen next year.
Maybe unofficially, but nothing that's been...
All right, well, I'll take that
I did hear somewhere too that they're looking at 4 umpires.
That's purely to have a quota system.
I didn't hear about the inclusion thing, but I just heard 4 umpires. That's what I heard.
4 central umpires, and I heard that it was so that we could have maybe at least 1, but maybe 2 females umpiring in games. I'm just wondering if that is the case or not, or is that become apocryphal? And if everyone thinks that that's sexist, to say that, I don't know why you'd want 4 umpires.
4 umpires. Why would you need 4 umpires?
Exactly,
the game's not as fast as.
Why would you need 2 women to do it?
The game's not as fast as what they think it is.
No.
Also, if they put 2 women into it, they're really going to put so much added pressure. I can't believe that the AFLW and everything, they expect it to be bigger than what it currently is. The AFL has been going on for 150... How long has the AFL been? 160 years?
Yeah, something like that.
And they're trying to make the AFLW and women inclusive in football. The whole 160 years of the AFL, they're trying to do it in 5 years. It's just not possible. Why put the expectations on their shoulders and come with all the pressure and criticism from it? Just give them their time.
All right, Don. Well, that's it.
Well, even their fixture this week, they're trying to get or cash in on the men's rivalry, Carlton-Collingwood, Hawthorn-Essendon, as the opening games this week.
What are you talking about?
Well, this is the women.
Oh, the women.
They're opening this week
Curtain
with
raising.
those fixtures, trying to get the rivalry that's been, men's rivalry. They're trying to transfer that into the women's game. It's just so false.
Yeah, because
surely people can see
being
through it.
Woke and trying to bloody.
I don't think it's him trying to be woke. I think it's him trying to make the FLW more capitable.
How insincere and bloody hypocritical can you get? Righto, here we go. Now that's it. Now we done. We're done. Well, I'm saying we're done. How do I stop this? Here we go. Now, Don, any other final announcements?